Welcome back to Math Virtual Classroom. For today's discussion, we are going to solve quadratic equation by extracting square roots. So our learning competency solves quadratic equation by extracting the square root method. Remember that every quadratic equation in one variable has exactly two solutions or roots. A quadratic equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c are called complete quadratic equations. Otherwise, they are incomplete quadratic equation. An incomplete quadratic equation of the form ax squared plus c equals 0 can be solved using the square root property, meaning to say the value of b is equal to 0. So we could use square root property. So square root property states that if a and c are complex numbers, and if x squared is equal to c, then x is equal to square root of c, or x is equal to negative square root of c. So let us have example of how we are going to solve quadratic equation using square root property. Example number 1, x squared equals 25. So we could already use the square root method. So we get the square root on both sides of the equations. So that would be the square root of x squared is equal to x, and square root of 25 is equal to positive or negative 5. Therefore, your solution set for this equation is x is equal to 5 and negative 5. Example number 2. X squared minus 121 equals 0. Remember that we should have the form x squared equals c. So we first use the addition property of equality to have this form of equation. So we are going to add positive 121 on both sides of the equation. Numbers that are inverses when added will be 0. So x squared now is equal to 0 plus 121 is 121. We can now apply the square root method. So that would become the square root of x squared is equal to the square root of 121. Square root of x squared now is equal to x, and the square root of 121 is equal to positive or negative 11. Therefore, the solution set is equal to positive 11 and negative 11. Example number 3. 2x squared minus 18 equals 0. So again, we should have the addition property of equality. We are going to add 18 on both sides of the equation. So we could isolate x on the left side of the equation. So this will be 0. Negative 18 plus 18 is 0. So 2x squared now is equal to 18. The next step is to divide both sides by 2. So 2 divided by 2, a number divided to itself, is 1. So that would be x squared equals to 18 divided by 2 is equal to 9. Therefore, that would be x squared equals 9. Now we apply the square root method. So getting the square root of both sides of the equation, this will be x, and the square root of 9 is equal to positive or negative 3. So your solution set, 3 and negative 3. Example number 4. Quantity x plus 2 squared minus 16 equals 0. So first step is to have addition property of equality. So we are going to add 16 on both sides of the equation, adding now 16. So this will be 0. So quantity x plus 2 squared is equal to 0 plus 16 is 16. Now we could apply the square root method. So we have square root of quantity x plus 2 squared is equal to the square root of 16. Square root of quantity x plus 2 squared is x plus 2. That would be equal to 16. Square root of 16 is positive or negative 4. Now, we use the addition property of equality, so we could isolate x. We add negative 2 on both sides of the equation. So that would become x plus 2 plus negative 2. So we also have negative 2 plus or minus 4. So again, adding inverses are 0. So that would be x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus 4. So the next step is to solve the equation separately. So what will be the two equations? So we will have x is equal to negative 2 plus 4. And then the other one will be x is equal to negative 2 minus 4. So let us first solve this part. Negative 2 plus positive 4 is equal to positive 2. And for this one, negative 2 minus 4 is equal to negative 6. So the solution set, x is equal to 2 and negative 6. Example number 5. 3 multiplied to quantity 4x plus 2 squared equals 48. I want you to notice that you have here 3. So let us first make this 1. So how are we going to do that? We are going to divide both sides of the equation by 3. So that is 3 divided by 3 and 48 divided by 3. Now, a number divided to itself is 1. So the left side of the equation will become quantity 4x plus 2 squared equals 48 divided by 3 is equal to positive 16. So that will be equal 16. Now we apply square root method. Getting the square root on both sides of the equation, that would become, okay, the square root of quantity 4x plus 2 squared is equal to 4x plus 2. And square root of 16 is equal to positive or negative 4. We now use addition property of equality. So 4x plus 2, we are going to add negative 2 on both sides of the equation. So that would be negative 2 plus and minus 4. So this will be 0. So the resulting equation now will become 4x is equal to negative 2 plus and minus 4. So let us solve the equations separately. So the first equation will be 4x is equal to negative 2 plus 4. And then the other one will be 4x is equal to negative 2 minus 4. So let us first solve this side. Negative 2 plus 4 is equal to, okay, positive 2. So that would become 4x is equal to 2. Dividing both sides now by 4. Okay, a number divided to itself is 1. So x now is equal to 2 over 4. If we are going to rewrite this on its simplest form, that would be 1/2. The other equation, will be negative 2 minus 4, and that is negative 6. So the equation is 4x equals negative 6. We divide both sides by 4. So this will be 1. 1 times x is x. Negative 6 over 4. Rewrite that on its simplest form. That would be negative 3 over 2. So that would be our solution set. So the solution set again is x equals 1/2 and negative 3 over 2. Now it's your turn. Find the roots of the following quadratic equations. If you have questions, you could go back to our video so you could determine the correct steps in solving the roots of the following quadratic equations. Write your answer on your math notebook.